squad, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Hello, hello everybody, and welcome to round 2 of the Twisted Imagination Tour. I'm your host, Cody Swanson, and I'm here with Blizzard. Say hi, Blizzard.
Howdy, hey.
So today we are at a fictional circuit, as we are at for all of these. This is Weatherfield International Raceway. Let's take a look at the track. We are somewhere in the United States. This is an American track, though not specific exactly where. This is a very, very wide and fast and flowing circuit. If you thought Bay Raceway Park for round 1 was a wide circuit, well, this one blows that out of the water. It was, I think, about 12 to 16 meters wide at Bay Raceway Park, and here it goes up to 20 meters wide in places at Weatherfield Raceway. So we are going to start qualifying here in just a moment, but first and foremost, Blizzard, tell us a little bit about the various drivers that we have on the grid. We've got a few stories that came in after the first race. We had some fights during that race for position and that sort. We had different strategies.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I think the big story last week was Leader coming out with that surprise win. Mercer looked so dominant in that race, but falling back into 4th after losing the tires a bit, apparently misjudging strategy from last week. O'Brien also was a huge battle in that race. Ended up in 2nd, so we're looking at that in the championship. Also, Schultz was our 3rd place last week, coming in with an amazing drive. So we're looking to see those 4 drivers really competing today, I think.
In practice, Peter O'Brien and Carson Schultz were dominating, getting very, very close to sub 140 lap times. They weren't quite there, but they got real close. Do you think that we might see sub 1 minute 40-second lap times on this qualifying run?
Right. It's definitely possible with the lower fuel that you'll see in qualifying compared to some of these practice tests. Some people prefer to test with the qualifying fuel, but a lot of them do stick to that race fuel. So I am definitely expecting to see some time drops here during qualifying.
All right. We'll go on board here in a moment with some of your qualifiers. So here we have Bob Donut performing his outlap.
And I'm excited to see how Bob performs, as he wasn't here, I believe, last week. So we're excited to see where he ends up in this battle for hopefully the position at the top.
He's been driving a very, very loose setup so far. This practice session, and we saw him slide out a little bit there. What do you think the setup strategy will be for this circuit?
That's a real good question. I know a lot of these drivers do prefer these looser setups. I don't know how they make them work, because I can't. I preferred the stiffer setup, and honestly, it was working quite well. But I'm excited to see what comes out today. I know there's been a lot of variation, especially between some of these drivers, especially at the top.
All right. Trying to find a car that is on track. Here we are. There's one. We are on board with Jeremy Mercer now. Coming around. And let's go through turn by turn. Here we are coming around turn 1. And then we go out onto this back stretch. I believe that they call it Sunshine Avenue. This is the longest straight of the track. And then we'll come down here to turn 2. This is No Man's Corner, and there we go. He almost lost it there, but stayed on track still. Coming around to the zigzag now. It is a downhill line that takes you all the way down to Lonesome Oak, that one lonesome tree. Kind of reminds me of VIR, the old oak tree that was at the back corner.
Oh, definitely.
There's a lot of corners in this circuit that remind me of especially different American circuits. I believe the author of this fictional track designed it to sort of resemble or to harken back to a lot of the classic 60s and 70s built racing circuits. And you can really see that with that big, wide, flowing sort of track design. Look at that, going flat out through the final corner. That's one corner I think you'll see a lot of drivers go flat out through. But as they vie for position, as they go in 2, 3 wide through that corner, as we have seen that they will probably be doing at the start, it might get a little hairy around there.
Something I'm also expecting is tire strategy. I really haven't seen a lot of people testing with the tires, so I'm very excited to see if people are really going to go for that one stop, or if they're going to go for a no stop strategy. I think it'll be very interesting in the race.
Absolutely. You saw last time around, Mercer in round 1 had a very, very poor strategy, it turned out, to pit in the middle, and that just did not play out in his favor. Hang on, I'm looking for
right, and especially in this week, or in this whole championship, really, with a lot of these tracks, not a lot of people have driven these tracks very often, so the tire wear really is a question. We really don't know what the tire wear is going to look like, so it really is just a gambler who's spent the most time in practice really looking at something like tire wear and strategy.
Yeah, I think for a sprint race, you know, the plan is, you know, the idea at the outset of this championship was that nobody would have to pit in, right? But you do still have the choice of soft, medium, or hard tires. You know, we saw Mercer tried to start out with the soft tires, and it worked really well for him at first. It burned up, and he had to pit. I don't think he had enough fuel as well to last the way. But it was a really, really strong start at the beginning. You've got drivers who saw that strong start in round one and say, maybe I could do something different. You know, maybe if I pit and I don't fuel up and I just take tires, maybe that'll work, you know? So we may see a pit stop or two. I don't think we'll see more than that, but it's still possible.
Could always come into play.
Let's take a look here at Nico Medina. Whoa! Sliding it. He's been having a rougher time of it. Driver from Argentina, actually. Here they are, all lined up.
You know, that is really one of the great things I love about this community and this series is that you do see a lot of different nationalities, man. People from everywhere just enjoying racing, man. And that's just what it comes down to. And that's, you know, what we're here for and what we strive to do is, you know, just be a community here for racing.
Absolutely. The beauty of sim racing as a whole is that it has the opportunity to bring everybody together from all over the world. I've met people that I would have never thought that I would get to meet through sim racing and getting to race with each other. And this community is definitely one of the great ones for international camaraderie.
Absolutely.
So I'm taking a look at the timetable off camera here, and it looks like Peter O'Brien did a 1 minute 38 seconds last lap.
I mean,
I'm sorry, lap before last.
You said it. We might get down into those 39s, 38s, and I mean, 38 right there. Insane,
Absolutely.
Beautiful driving from him.
Close behind, Corey Robbins actually was not really on our radar all that much in practice, but he really put it together for a strong second place qualifying run, and he did a 1 minute 39.274 in his last lap, also his best lap. And then Carson Schultz, who had shown us that a 140 run could be done in practice, also eked in there with a 1 minute 39.414 as your top three. Behind him, Mercer. Jeffrey Bray just set the fifth best time so far in qualifying. And then, of course, behind him, unsurprisingly, James Leader is in the fight as well. Just hitting the 140.304 mark.
Definitely some impressive times in there being set by pretty much everyone on the field. Patterson not quite liking his lap there, deciding to reset.
See Mercer, Padigan, Finnegan all in the pits. Looking for another one to spectate here for the last little bit.
And something to mention, and why it's taking us a while to find somebody to spectate, is that we are on single qualifying or solo qualifying. So each driver, you know, they don't have to fumble over each other or fight over position on the track. They all just each do their own separate qualifying session, and it gets added to the timetable. So really enjoying that feature. Glad to see we've started using that, as it makes qualifying, I think, a lot more competitive. You know, you're not having to always fight over track position or trying to, you know, get a tow from somebody.
Let's see. It does make things a little bit harder to see
On our end, yeah.
on our end, certainly. But what we can do is put us in the stands. So we've got a lovely view of what you would have if you got a ticket at Weatherfield Raceway.
Not many people get this.
That's true. That's true. We are bringing you the exclusives, you know? You can't do this in real life. This is only something you can do in sim racing. Watch fake cars at a fake racetrack.
That's one way to have an afternoon.
Absolutely. Well, qualifying is over. The drivers are completing their final times around. As soon as they cross the finish line, that'll be the end of it. Peter O'Brien did a 1 minute 38.69 while we were blabbering on. So that's going to be a very hard to beat best lap. I think he just barely, or actually I think he may have tied his current lap, or sorry, his previous best lap. Or maybe I just read that wrong. But Jeffrey Bray moved all the way up, beating Corey Robbins. Carson Schultz is in 4th, behind Corey Robbins in 3rd. And then Jeremy Mercer rounds out your top 5 on the starting grid. We're going to take a break, and we will be right back. All right, we are on the grid and about ready to race. We're counting down. You see a little countdown timer up above the race countdown timer. It's at 1 minute 30 to go. And then we will go racing around Weatherfield Raceway.
Drivers putting final touches onto setups and strategies. Like I said, I mentioned earlier, about the strategies. We shouldn't see any pit stops today, but I'd be interested to see after last week if some people do make that switch and do try to go for a one stop with some of the lighter compound or softer compound tires. Sorry.
I think that this circuit is much harder on the tires. You had some second gear corners. Actually, I think like low third gear corners around Bay Raceway Park. This one, you have some really, really long straights into some very, very hard braking zones. You didn't really have that as much in Bay Raceway. You had a lot of slow corners and that sort. But it looks like we are getting ready to go. We're going to race on those long straights. We're going to race on those hard braking corners here in about 15 seconds. And we're off for round 2 of the Twisted Imagination Tour.
Everyone keeping it clean for the most part into T1. Looking, we see a slide.
We got a big slide. That looks like Bray, was it? No, Bray starts. Yep, yeah, that was Bray in this number 612 blue car.
Bray definitely making contact with Mercer.
Yeah, and a big hit into the wall for Bray. Yeah, Mercer's got some damage. He's there in the back, drafting back behind leader, trying to regain a little bit of that. Whoa, got some big spin. That's Finnegan off. That Randy Finnegan.
Wilson also off somewhere.
Yep, Ethan Wilson. Wow, that was a really big shuffle there.
Donut sliding back down the order as well.
Well, they seem to have it mostly sorted. Looks like
O'Brien.
Yep, O'Brien capitalizing on his pole position, getting out into the fight pretty far ahead already. Going through, this is called the hill climb. This is a sharp uphill using all that V8 power. See, this is quite a fight. Let's go on board with Bob Donut. You can really see a lot of traffic up ahead that he's got to navigate through. Oh boy!
Into the wall. Oh.
Leader hard hit into the wall. He's off. Schultz is off.
Schultz as well.
Oh man, I was talking about that final corner being deadly. Whoa! Really risky move there from Wilson trying to get positions back. He does it, but man, the officials might have a look at that one later. Goodness. That was risky.
Risky, but keeping it clean, it makes it through.
Absolutely,
Not causing any more damage.
Schultz, hard into the wall again.
Schultz is really not having a good day today.
Yeah, Schultz placed third after a very, very strong showing at Bay Raceway. But, man, he is not off to a good start now. That car is very, very heavily damaged. Off tracks are penalized with that 25 kilogram ballast. And contact with other cars are penalized equally. 25 kilogram ballast. Of course, they have different warnings attached to them. Oh no, Medina!
Oh, just all kinds of chaos here at the start.
Into the wall, spinning his wheels. Medina teleporting back to the pits.
Back to pits he goes.
First one, actually, it looked like who teleported back to the pits. Oh, Harris!
Oh,
Harris at the oak tree.
lonely tree.
Wow, what do you think might be causing this? This is a very different class of driving than we had in round 1.
Yeah, I mean, these cars, man, it's really tough to drive, and some people just really struggle with that little bit of understeer and oversteer, depending on which corner you're at. You know, you really get a lot of that around this track, as you see right there, sliding again, is Monroe there.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the default setup on these cars, in hard braking, it can be pretty easy to lock the fronts. You remember we mentioned in round 1 there is no brake assist. There is traction control, but there's no ABS.
Yeah, it's very easy to lock the brakes.
Absolutely. We're seeing a lot of that, and you know, they lock the brakes into these hard corners braking into a turn, and a lot of them are just swapping ends. Let's see, Willie here challenging for 8th place. Monroe on board, going very onto the rumble strips. Willie takes advantage, and it looks like Willie gets the pass in the 636 car.
Good move.
Absolutely. Nice and clean. Take advantage of the opponent's mistake. Oh, but he makes another one.
Makes a mistake of his own.
And
Monroe trying to capitalize.
Yeah, Monroe gets alongside him. And ahead of him. Here we are on board with Willie. He's got the overspeed on him. See him going around. They're halfway alongside. It's a drag race, but Willie has the inside line. But Monroe gets the slingshot. They are still halfway alongside each other. Oh, Leader goes into the pits. Leader making a pit stop, probably for damage.
I would assume.
And Schultz passes Leader in the pits. Looks like Monroe looking towards the inside. Will he get it done? Whoa!
Backs
the
way up.
slingshot. The slingshot from Willie. He's got the positioning, but man, that was a wild one.
For sure.
Somehow Willie makes it work, holds off. The true winner in all of this is Chamberlain here, who goes around Monroe.
Definitely capitalizing on this battle.
Absolutely, very, very technical section here. What will happen? Monroe looks to the inside, thinks less of it. That looked like Willie got into that inside rumble hill that can be very punishing if you run over it. And he lost 2 positions.
People are really struggling with that corner.
It's one that if you haven't like really familiarized yourself with it, practiced it a lot, and respect it, it will punish you like crazy. It's definitely one of those things that you wouldn't see on a real life circuit, at least not in the modern day, because it's got a hill on the inside of it. Like it's not a sand trap. It's a sand bank.
Right. No, it's definitely an interesting corner. Really fun to drive through, though. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, Bray takes a pit stop. Jeffrey Bray, one of your top qualifiers. He's in the pits, not stopping yet. There we go. Makes a stop. This is, I think, earlier than one would expect for a regularly scheduled pit stop, so this is most likely to repair some set of damage. And he's off going again. It wasn't a very long one, so maybe that was tires. I don't know. A lot of drivers that... Oh, Schultz is a retirement.
Something happened to Penguin. Penguin's falling back now. Was running in 2nd place, now in 4th. Lost a lot of time there.
Absolutely. I want to go back to the battle for what's now 9th. Chamberlain seems to have passed both drivers, but Willie and Monroe are still trading blows.
Just back and forth. Always love seeing a battle in the midfield.
Absolutely, especially one as close as this. They've been friendly with each other. They're not, you know, coming in contact or going nuts.
Nothing dirty.
Very strange line there from Willie. You're on board with Monroe. He had to let off the gas there. Kind of overcooked it and took a very, very inside line around that final corner. That final corner, you can take that flat out if you have a good line, but if you're on the inside, you have to lift, and that can be very punishing because it goes out onto one of the longer straights on this circuit.
Right.
You can see that mistake really compounded itself. Willie's now a second ahead. Is that Bray in the pits again?
I believe so.
I'm curious as to know what's going on with Jeffrey Bray.
Definitely unusual to take 2 pit stops.
Yeah, lap after lap. Well, let's take a look at our leaders, who we actually haven't followed too much so far. Peter O'Brien is running away with it right now.
Absolutely. Pulling a Mercer from last week, just absolutely ahead of the field.
Absolutely. That purple 640 car was chasing Mercer for much of the first race and then eventually finished second. But now looks to be his time to shine as he is dominating the front of the race. Robbins 10 seconds back.
About to come up on a lapped car.
Looks like it. I think that might be Bray. Yeah, that's Bray in the 612 there. Looks like Willie's getting up ahead, knocking on Chamberlain's door. Red car versus red car. Getting the draft, ducking down and looking towards the inside line. Not quite getting there. Ooh, getting a little bit loose. And it looked like a touch there from Chamberlain, just barely brushing the wall.
You know, if Chamberlain and Willie start fighting again, it's going to bring Monroe right back into it.
Yep. Looks like Monroe's getting a bit closer there, a lot closer now after that braking zone. You can really see that example of what I call the sand dunes on the inside of some of these corners.
Mm-hmm.
If you lock your brakes and go over those, you're gonna go airborne. Absolutely, you're going to go airborne. So this is a track that it's very, very wide. It gives you a lot of freedom, but the edges where they're at, they command respect.
Oh, absolutely.
Taking a look at Willie, this is the battle for 8th. This is the corner that you can take very, very quickly. I've seen a lot of drivers be conservative through here. I think the drivers that were doing 138s, 139s in qualifying, most likely they were carrying a lot of speed through there because that allows you to carry a lot of speed through here. Oh, it looks like we've got Monroe finding some speed, getting ahead of Willie.
Just having, like you said, just pushing that corner maybe just a little bit more, getting more speed out onto that straight.
Absolutely, and you see Willie taking a very aggressive line. Whoa, did not pay off for him there.
Good recovery.
Good recovery, but loses a lot of momentum. Monroe's going to really be able to capitalize on that and start chasing after Chamberlain. Here we are, battle for 3rd, Penguin and Mercer.
Mercer doing really well to recover off of not quite the best start I think I've ever seen him have.
Yeah, you see that car front and rear damage. Some really tough starts there compared to how he was doing last time around with a very clean car by the end of Bay Raceway, even though he did have to make that pit stop. This one was a much more high-touch start for all involved, pretty much.
Again, just slowly trying to chip away at that gap, getting 1/10 of a second here and a tenth there. But eventually that'll add up, and hopefully he'll be able to make another move here soon.
Yeah, 1 second back looks. It's a really quite a testament to how fast these cars go on the straights. 'Cause 1 second, and Penguin's way up there. Ooh, Mercer touching the sand on the outside just a little bit. Carrying a lot of speed through here. Penguin's still beating him out just a little bit. But yeah, you think about 1 second, doesn't feel like that long, and then you see the difference. Whoa, Mercer! Oh, I mentioned that one was a killer. You're gonna feel that, you know. Think about, you know, outside of motion simulators, you know, like getting rid of simulators for a second. If you're in the actual car, you go over that. These cars have very stiff, hard racing suspension. You're gonna feel that in the morning.
Oh yeah.
You're going to feel that, and if any of these drivers are baller enough to have a motion simulator, they're gonna feel that major bump. It's gonna, you know, jolt you up and down, shake you a little bit. But wow, look at the speed that they carry through that final corner. Oh, Bob Donut coming around. Looks like him and Leader have been fighting for 11th here and there. Whoa!
Oh.
Looks like netcode for Bob Donut. Oh, Bob Donut having connection issues.
You know, like we mentioned with a lot of these this worldwide racing that we can do now, thanks to the sim, it does also include the netcode. And some people coming from places with not the best internet, sometimes stuff like that does happen, unfortunately.
Indeed, or your internet may be good, but you know, maybe you're over on the other side of the world. This is a North American hosted server. Europe's usually pretty fine, but if you are in, you know, Asia or Australia, the lag, the netcode can can get pretty big. Wow, what's
going on here?
Willie and Leader both spun out on turn 1. Heavy damage to both cars. Oh man. And
really unfortunate.
Yeah, Bob Donut into the both of them. So he gains 2 positions but picks up some front end damage.
And Willie was in that battle with Chamberlain. So really unfortunate to see that happen to him.
And indeed, Leader locking the fronts. You got to wonder if he's got some damage. Willie doing the same. You know, suspension on these cars is very important, and if you've hit something hard enough, Assetto Corsa will simulate that suspension damage. And you know, even if you can manage the car and its different handling characteristics, it's still definitely not going to be as quick. Ooh, you see, yeah, Willie getting very squirrely, taking very unoptimal lines through there. Although you look at Leader challenging Bob Donut, looks like he'll get it done. Although it's definitely messy. Man, definitely a different kind of driving than we saw at Bay Raceway. Bay Raceway, a lot of very close racing, a lot of really clean driving, some ballsy moves, but still, you know, they were able to keep it on the track. This one has been a demolition derby.
you know, I think that stands out to the track. You know, it's a very tough technical track, and if you just get even the slightest bit wrong, you know, you're gonna end up in that sand. You're gonna end up spinning with these cars. Like we said, they're very tough cars to drive. So, you know, you have to be careful. You know, and if you're not, it's gonna happen to you.
Yeah, the author of this track said in his, manifesto or artist statement, what have you, that he designed this very much as a track for slower cars, pretty much up to GT3 cars. Well, these are GTE cars, which are a bit faster than GT3, and he was saying, GT3 is really pushing the edge of it. This track is very wide, but the speeds that you can get up to before you go into these braking zones, these cars are doing, high 200, kilometers an hour down the straights. Let's take a look at these guys. Drafting, speed trap, 240 kilometers an hour, 250 kilometers an hour, down the back stretch, and, they... In qualifying trim, they can go even faster through there. It is absolutely some very high speed racing going on here, and I think a lot of these drivers maybe came in with an expectation of how it was with Bay Raceway, where you have a lot of forgiving corners and not too many like heavy braking zones going into technical sections. It was a much simpler track. This one's much more technical, and you see these drivers really struggling with it.
Right, and speaking of having braking zones, again, I mean, to mention, like we said, these cars don't have ABS. So it really is, these tough braking zones with no ABS, you have to get it right, or you're going to lock up.
We are on board with Jeremy Mercer, seeing Penguin there. Whoa!
Penguin really wide.
No! Penguin into that sand dune, and you could see that just killed all of his momentum. He went to fighting with Mercer to now Baumeister coming up on him. Look, Baumeister, you could see from the front end damage on Baumeister's car. I mentioned, I think that's either Australia or New Zealand. I can't quite count the stars.
I believe Australian.
Yeah, Australia. There we go. But he's got that front end damage on the hood of his car. See the wireframe on the livery. That's hilarious. But Penguin was battling with Mercer. Mercer really doesn't have to worry too much about second right now after that one little mistake from Penguin. But now Penguin's getting reeled in by Baumeister. These drivers carrying a lot of speed through here. They slow it down, they get it working again. A little bit of a hiccup there on both cars. Netcode. Randy Finnegan and DJ Harris retired. I don't think that we mentioned that before. But we have 2 more retirements, so that brings the total retirements from this race up to 5. Oh boy. Baumeister right alongside. Penguin holds him off for now, but looks like Baumeister's going in for the slingshot. Ooh, Penguin.
A bit of an exit on Penguin.
Shaky, a touch on the wall there. And Baumeister now looking at a podium position.
Up into 3rd. Great to see from him.
Very much has had to fight his way up. You can see a very battle-worn front end.
As we see the Aussies coming into chat. Hello. Hello.
Ooh, Aussies in chat. Let's take a look at Peter O'Brien, very quietly out in front. Similar story to Jeremy Mercer in round 1. Although it looks like we're past the halfway mark, so I think Peter O'Brien has learned from the mistakes of Mercer that hey, if you're out in front, maybe don't take a pit stop and don't plan your strategy around needing to take a pit stop in these sprint races.
Looks like he's feeling just about as lonely as that tree right now.
Now, speaking of Mercer, he's in second. He's about a quarter of a lap back from Peter O'Brien, but he's got a strong showing so far. Not quite the out front dominance that he had, but remember, he's not on soft tires anymore. He's on the mediums. Let's look at leader, who's challenging Chamberlain. Looks like he gets ahead of him for the moment.
Looks like he will keep it for the moment at least.
Here we are. This is on board with leader, looking back at Chamberlain. Actually, he's pulling away from Chamberlain, it looks like. I want to look at the gap of Bouwmeester. He's about 3.5 seconds back from Mercer and slowly getting closer. Bouwmeester was not in the first race, so he has not gathered any points from the first race. So he will have to, well, certainly maintain attendance for all the rest of the races, but also finish very strongly if he wants to beat the podium position runs of drivers like Peter O'Brien and Jeremy Mercer. Although Jeremy Mercer just off the podium, if you'll remember. James Leader, winner of the last race, is in 8th right now. Not quite the showing that he had at the last circuit. Whoa! Big slide there. Looks like the white car of
Conrad.
Conrad, I think that was, yeah. He gets
turned around though.
Back going, yeah. He did a good job of waiting until the other drivers were passed before getting back into the driving line. But man,
definitely losing a lot of time there.
Yes, absolutely. That car looks like a piece of white crumpled paper. Didn't look like he hit anything there, but that car has definitely seen better days.
All right. And we'll see a break and close that gap. Looks like he's starting to close it pretty quick now.
Indeed, this is helmet view for Jeffrey Bray. Whoa!
It seems the caster's curse.
Yeah, I guess so. Man, into the sand dune. And that's a really, really punishing place to go off track, because that leads out onto the long straight. Oh, it looks like a pit visit for Jeffrey Bray.
I believe this is his 3rd now.
Yeah, that's got to be some sort of a technical issue. There's no strategic reason for any of that. He might be struggling,
most definitely,
with some sort of technical issue with the rig. Maybe he's having setup problems, or some sort of issue beyond that. There we go. A quick stop. Gets going again.
Yeah, definitely very odd from him, though. Something we don't see a lot, especially from a driver of his caliber.
Yeah, he placed 5th in round 1, so he's got some good points going into this round. But coming out in looks like 12th right now. If you called the finishing order there, I don't think he'd be very happy with his performance.
Definitely struggling in this race. Somebody not struggling in this race, though, O'Brien, still just way ahead of everybody, just on a absolute flyer.
Absolutely. It's been a masterclass from O'Brien. He's just out there doing laps, Here we are.
Feeling
on
like
board with
Verstappen in this last season of Formula One, in a league of his own.
Here you go. You can hear that throttle. He stays very, very close to the inside, but also maintains full throttle through there. I think it's the way he's set up the car, because on the default setup, which it is very loose, so I suspect some drivers are driving the default. Whoa!
Oh!
A crash in front of O'Brien!
Oh no!
O'Brien slams into that looks like Chamberlain. Oh no, not Chamberlain,
Chamberlain and
but
Monroe.
yeah. Wow, Chamberlain's still in there, but man, we were talking about O'Brien and how it's just been easy coasting for him, and then with basically nowhere to go, considering the G-forces of that turn. Man.
Commentator's curse is just real today, I guess.
I guess so. Man, it was Chamberlain, but he didn't crash into Chamberlain. Was that? Oh goodness, who was that? It was
Monroe, I believe.
Okay, yeah, Monroe looks like he took that damage. Man. Heavy hit there.
You know, that was a heavy hit, especially on that front side. I wonder if he'll have any significant damage that, you know, could put Mercer back onto the list.
Yeah, his previous lap, 1 minute 39.625. We were talking about sub 140s. He's been doing it in race trim, and we'll have to see. This lap, of course, will be a wash, but we'll have to see his lap time in the lap after and probably the lap after that to see if he'll be able to get it back. You know, of course, he's definitely picked up some damage on the front end, but I would also say that that can shake a driver too, you know?
Right.
Especially, you know, he's probably gotten into a bit of a lull, just, you know, out in front, not much competition, challenging him from behind, keeping him, you know, worried. Whoa, I see a slide there from O'Brien. That's got to be that front suspension. Oh, boy.
Monroe
we'll
just trying to wake O'Brien up a little bit.
Yeah. We'll have to see if Mercer can capitalize on that. He is about 20 seconds back from O'Brien. But it's a long way to go in 9 minutes, but that might just be the blessing that he needed to try to pull off a win. You know,
Right,
Mercer
a lot can happen in 9 minutes.
Yeah, Mercer had some really bad luck, some poor strategic choices in round one that kept him from the first place podium. But maybe there was a bit of good luck for him. Bad luck O'Brien and good luck Mercer. Yeah, you can already see he's gaining time on O'Brien. 15 seconds back now instead of 20. Of course, that'll rubber band a little bit.
Right, but dropping about 5 seconds a lap, I mean, that's pretty good time.
Indeed, I want to go back to leader. James Leader into the pits. With 8 minutes to go. Do you think this might be fuel?
You know, this could be this late into the race. I wouldn't be hard pressed to, especially one that short was definitely looking towards fuel.
Yeah, I think James Leader might have had a bit of a technical
a miscalculation.
Yes. But he gets back out on track. Monroe taking the position from him just barely. Look at that. Leader, and then Monroe is the car ahead. So Monroe beats Leader through the pits. Leader's going to have to challenge him to get that back. If that was just fuel and no tires, then he's still going to be on old tires. He's lost the time, and he's just heavier. Uh-oh, we got a car off. That looks like Conrad.
Conrad again?
Yeah, again, near the same spot. I don't think that's exactly the same spot. I think that is the corner section before. Yeah, I think that is after Zigzag. There you go. Yeah, he's going through the Lonesome Oak set of corners right now. If you take a look at the track map here, you can see that section labeled 8, 9, and 10. That's Lonesome Oak. That oak tree is poked right in there. It was the corner section before that 6 and 7, where he went off this time around. Oh, and a big spin again. Oh my goodness. Daniel Conrad out here spinning like a top.
Really just struggling with the car today.
Yeah, and you can see some very familiar tracks in the dirt there. See a lot of drivers going off in that corner. It's been tripping up a lot of drivers today, and I think it's gotten Conrad, I think, a couple of times now.
Like you said, you got to take the right line through there. You can't full throttle through it.
Or you can, but it's a very narrow set of circumstances where you won't slide out and bend the car. We said to take a look at Jeremy Mercer, who was working on catching up to O'Brien. He's still about 15, 16 seconds back. You can see he's really pushing. I think his tires have lost it a little bit because he is struggling for grip around every corner now. And O'Brien, I think, if we take a look at him, his last lap time, actually 1 minute 39.724. He didn't lose as much lap time as we thought he might. He's coming around again, though. We'll see a new one.
Really doesn't seem to be struggling too much with that damage.
Yeah, 1 minute 39.973.
Impressive.
Absolutely. Bouwmeester about 4.5, 5 seconds back from Mercer, just absolutely ripping it through there. You can take a look, his previous lap time, 1 minute 41. This one, 1 minute 39.682. Big improvement over the previous one. That kind of lap is what you need to catch Mercer, to catch O'Brien. However, we've only got 4 minutes left in this race. We're really, really coming down to the wire. Can Bouwmeester make up 4.5 seconds in 4 minutes?
It's gonna be tough.
That's an uphill battle.
All right. But we'll see, like we said, anything can happen.
That's true. Take a look. Here's your leader, Peter O'Brien. You can see he's being a bit more careful on these apexes this late in the game. He recognizes that he's out in front. He's got a good lead. If he runs 90% of the track, he's a lot safer, but he doesn't have to take those big risks of going off and losing a lot more time. He can afford it.
Definitely.
All right, last lap, 1 minute 39.793. This one, 1 minute 39.248. It's interesting because I've seen a lot of drivers who start to take it a little bit easier. They don't go all the way out to the edge, although, whoa, he just went way out to the edge on that specific corner. They don't go all the way out to the edge. They're much calmer drivers. And then, you would think that their lap times would go down a little bit because they're putting in a little bit less effort. But
Right.
it actually go up. Actually, the lap times improve, I'll say.
Right.
But the lap times improve because they're driving smoother. This looks like Peter O'Brien. He's not driving as aggressively as he would have, at the start, as he was gaining this lead. But he's still retaining a lot of the same lap time,
Well, you have to think you're also, losing a lot of that fuel. You start with a very heavy car, and throughout the end of the or by the end of the race, you're burned off all that fuel. You're almost down to nothing.
Absolutely. Oh, Saucepan Willie, a spin in turn 1, just past the bridge. He's backing it up, getting it going again.
Oh no!
Hitting the wall. Oh, other drivers being very careful to go around him. Oh,
Poor
he
Willie
gets it
has
going.
been struggling today.
Yep, he loses his top 10. I believe Chamberlain passed him there whenever he spun. So Chamberlain, pardon, into the top 10, and Willie is down to 11. A lot of cars crumpled like tin cans today. Definitely a very physical race. Robbins, though, challenging for a top 5 here close to the end. Oh, O'Brien in the pits. O'Brien in the pits with a minute to go.
What happened?
This had to be fuel.
Oh no!
Oh, this had to be fuel.
It looked like he got teleported back to pits.
It may have been.
Because it looked like he lost all 4 positions at once.
Yeah, it was so instant. You know, normally you see on that timing screen, you know, it'll go down by one, by one,
And
by
with
one.
one lap left too.
Yeah. What happened there?
The drama
Oh,
just
my
doesn't stop
goodness.
today.
Wow. Wow.
And Mercer, you know, after losing a very unlucky losing out to his own strategy last week, just gets gifted by some sort of, it looked like technical difficulty from O'Brien.
Yeah, it's that's gonna be our very first question post race is
Oh,
what
absolutely.
in the world happened there with O'Brien.
And he was on such a just a league of his own today again.
Yeah, he
Like
had it in the
Mercer
bag.
last week, just cruising. And like you said, taking it smooth. So really interesting to see, you know, what happened there.
Man, and you know, if he was truly running out of fuel, one might think that he would have been fuel saving a little bit, or you know, lifting and coasting. You wouldn't be seeing 1 minute 39s from him, you know.
Yeah.
That is insane. Here we are, Mercer, your new leader, coming around to the finish, and through a miraculous gift, he takes it. Mercer wins round 2 at Weatherfield Raceway.
Congrats to him, and what a crazy ending there, you know. Like we said, anything can happen in these races, man, and that just proves it right there.
Wow. Bowmeister, the lag drifting in celebration, it seems. But Bowmeister pulls off a second place. A little bit of a touch there with Mercer. I think that was a friendly one.
We do like to have a little fun in this community at the end of races.
Yeah, wow. That was... Man, Bowmeister really fought his way up from the low mid-pack.
Right.
All the way throughout, pulls off a respectable second place.
Beautiful drive.
Only a 3-point difference between first and second place, so he's going to really enjoy that. He missed round 1, so no points from round 1, and this puts him on the map.
Definitely huge.
And you know, think about Carson Schultz, who had a very respectable 3rd place finish in the last one, failed to finish in this one, so no points there. Now Bowmeister, who did finish and finished second in this one, is ahead of Carson Schultz in the standings now.
Right.
Penguin, pink car, placed in 3rd, a respectable one. I don't think we saw Penguin in, at least certainly not by that name. We didn't see Penguin in round 1.
I do not believe we did.
Yeah, so that's also going to be points on the board for Penguin, and great ones as well. 3rd place for Penguin. Pasha Patterson improves on the 7th place finish from Bay Raceway and pulls off a solid 4th, cracking the top 5. Good to see.
Good stuff.
And then Corey Robbins, number 635 car, rounds out your top 5. Peter O'Brien, James Leader, just outside of the top 5, and Monroe as well in 8th. It's a decent points position. It keeps them alive for the championship after their finishes in round 1. Taking a look, that's not even Mercer who's doing the the donuts on the backstretch. Let's bring in some drivers. First off, I want to talk to O'Brien. Blizzard, would you be able to bring O'Brien into the pit box for us?
I can indeed. Hello, hello. Brian, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Oh boy.
Hi there. Well, condolences. Condolences. What happened?
It was the end of the race. I kind of stopped paying attention. I was really trying to hot lap at that point, see if I could keep up with James on the super softs on my 25 lap old mediums. I was cutting the corner and I was like, I think I can go just a little bit tighter, and I smashed the wall.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh, it's so
We
tough.
we were covering a totally different event. We didn't see that at all on the broadcast, but hard hit. Do you remember exactly where that was?
Right at the little pit wall where it juts out in the front straight.
Oh, I see.
Oh, no.
I just smashed into it at like full speed.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Well,
Yeah,
it was
that's
kind of unfortunate, but
Ooh.
Other than that, a great race.
Yeah.
You were doing fantastic up until that point.
yeah, the car felt really good. Then again, I think I was the only one who actually practiced to learn a track that nobody probably knows. I did like 60 laps of practice, and I
Wow.
think most of the people just started in the practice session, so I kind of was hoping that's where I'd be. But yeah, just unfortunate to absolutely destroy my car at the end of the race. Good thing I teleported to the pits and came back out in sixth, I guess.
Wow. Well, man. Well, the good news is sixth still pays for points, and you'll get to look on to round 3.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The goal is always next week.
Right. Well, good
All
luck
right.
in the race next week. We'll see you again.
All right. Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at Mercer. If we
I
can-
believe he just hopped out of the Discord, but I can see if I can get him back. Give me
Okay,
one
yeah,
moment.
let's shoot a message to our winner, Jeremy Mercer. And yeah, in the meantime, I'll just sort of reflect on the race a little bit. I think that I think O'Brien really brought up a good point there. He put in 60 laps of practice for this. A lot of drivers seemed that some of the more basic corners caught them off guard in this race. So I think that there was a little bit of the race schedule just sort of catching up to them. This is a week by week session or series, sorry, and each session doesn't leave a whole lot of time in between the previous session to prepare. The first race had a lot of racing ahead of time, way up ahead of time. A lot of people practiced round 1. It looked like a lot fewer people practiced round 2, and this might turn out to be a learning opportunity for the drivers going into round 3.
And I believe we do have Mercer here. Hold on. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Hi,
it
Jeremy.
going?
Congratulations on the win.
Yeah, thanks. Feels entirely undeserved, but thanks anyway.
Sometimes that happens.
Well, hey, you were working really, really hard there at the end. O'Brien said that he felt that you
Right.
were on softs or super softs at the end.
Oh, no, that wasn't me. That was people going for fast laps.
Ah,
Yeah, we kind of suspected. We didn't see you in the pits there. Of course, you were maintaining a really good striking position, about a quarter lap back behind
Yes.
O'Brien. But you weren't. You kind of caught up to him a little bit. You went from 20 seconds behind to about 15 seconds behind, and just sort of stagnated there up until, of course, the very end. But you put in some solid. Solid laps, clean laps. This was a very chaotic race, to say the least. How do you manage that you survived?
Well, in turn 1, I did get knocked and sent to the back, but I was lucky that I didn't get damage from it. And then I was just careful about how I passed people, and it was always clean. So then, with the big space of time between trying to pass people, just put in consistent laps. that most of the time weren't as fast as Peter, and I knew he was just pulling away, but that wasn't really my goal.
Well, definitely seems like that strategy paid out in the end. Congrats again on the win, especially after the tragic loss last week
Yeah.
of your first place position.
Yeah, last week I thought that the medium tires would wear out a lot worse than they had, so I fueled low. And I had way more pace than everyone at the beginning because I was fueled low, but the tires were not wearing. So yeah, I ended up taking a pit stop that was unnecessary that race.
Well,
So-
great to see that you came back this week.
Yes, absolutely. You pulled together 4th place in round 1, and then you get a win on this race. So let's see. Looking through the
That's a good point.
standings,
Definitely put you in
looking at the
first.
standings, that puts you at 112 points, and Peter O'Brien is in second with 103. I see the team listed in that timetable as Room Car Drive. Are you guys on the same team?
Yeah, we've been racing together, I guess, in a couple servers. So yeah, we've been doing enduros and stuff.
Awesome. Well, how does it feel to have a 1-2 in the championship between you and O'Brien?
Pretty good. Yeah, I think we got a good chance at, I guess, winning the team championship as well.
All right. Well, best of luck in. Well, let's just take a look at the team standings there. Yeah, you guys have a very good chance at winning the team championship. Room Car Drive, 299 points after round 2. Baloo Gang is in second behind you guys with 159 points. So I would say you guys are doing pretty well in the team standings category.
Now I believe there's 3 of us. Do they have 3 people?
Yeah, you're there with Jeffrey Bray,
Yeah.
who has 84 points, currently sitting in 5th for the driver standings.
Yep.
Well,
Thanks.
thank you very much for the interview. Congratulations on the win, and good luck going into round 3.
Okay, thank you.
All right, that looks like our race. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It was a very eventful race this time around. Well, I will... oh, give me just a moment here. Lost the audio for you. There we go. Sorry about that. So, we will bid you farewell as we look towards round 3 of the Twisted Imagination Tour. That will be on January 18th at the Ottawa GP circuit. We're going to fictional Canada, everybody.
See you there, everyone.
All right. Bye, all.
Bye.